Mistress of the Dark, Queen of Halloween, the gal in the wig whose talents are big. Known the world over by these monikers and self-proclamations, Cassandra Peterson spent years wearing many hats as a Vegas showgirl, singer, actress, comedian, before she created the pop culture iconic character of Elvira in 1981, which became an overnight success. However, like things that creep in the shadows, Cassandra kept a romantic secret for 2 decades, what shocked the world, but also endeared her even more in the hearts of many. Cassandra Peterson was, by her own admission, a late bloomer. The day of graduation from William J. Palmer High School finally arrived, and although I was deemed the school slut by many of my fellow students, I may have been the only girl graduating that day who was still a virgin. Heck, I was possibly the only girl who wasn't pregnant. Many of the girls who were graduating were preggers or had already had a kid. I saw how it affected their lives and vowed to never get pregnant as long as I lived. Though she went back on that promise, it was not until the fully adult age of 43. As a teen in the 1960s, she was an accomplished, albeit a virgin, groupie who had some close run-ins with the likes of Jimmy Page, Eric Burdon of the Animals, Jimi Hendrix, and even Elvis Presley himself, while still managing to retain her V-card. Cassandra, affectionately known by family as Sonny, did eventually acquire a dating history with men, several of which were men who were shockingly only half straight. This fact became frightening once the 80's rolled around. One of her romantic partners included Buddy Vest of the singing-dancing duo Vest and Clark. Referring to the 80's, Cassandra said, "It was a dark time. The AIDS epidemic kept growing and growing with no end in sight. I heard that Buddy Vest, my crush from my Las Vegas days, had passed, and my first serious boyfriend, Matt Vernon, was sick. Robert's brother Dan, who was also an ex-boyfriend and someone I'd been close to for years, discovered he had AIDS and died by suicide. With my dating history, it was nothing short of a miracle that I somehow escaped the virus. Even a certain blonde magician tried to initiate some romance with a then 18-year-old Miss Peterson. And as hard as it may be to believe, the night of my 18th birthday, Siegfried pulled me into my bedroom, locking the door behind us, laid me across the bed, and after a few minutes of heavy, inebriated kissing, asked to be my first. Even in my drunken stupor, and as turned on as I was, I managed to once again avoid losing my virginity. Now that's magic." Cassandra settled down at the age of 30 with what would be her husband of 25 years, Mark Pearson. Have always called myself a feminist, but I also like being the object of men's attention. I sure as hell picked the wrong career if I didn't. I've always been attracted to men and like knowing men appreciate and are attracted to me. Regardless of her overt sexuality, it's always been a source of pride for Cassandra that Elvira is a role model. When discussing her cult classic 1988 film, Mistress of the Dark, Cassandra said, "The movie is the story of a misfit who, even though she's mischaracterized by almost everyone she meets, overcomes conflict, fights against self-righteousness and hypocrisy, and stands up to sexism, all while wearing 6-inch stiletto heels. She unapologetically flaunts her sexiness, but is also fiercely independent, strong, and self-empowered. If you reduce her to nothing more than a pair of boobs, you might miss that she's intelligent, witty, and altruistic. Elvira stands up for herself and solves her own problems without waiting for anyone, especially a man, to rescue her. She's tough and flawed, but also exudes a vulnerability that connects with people, making her an odd yet positive role model. Time and again I've heard how my movie gave someone hope, strength, courage, or just a laugh when they were going through hard times. Box office success or not, that's made it all worthwhile. Cassandra's life took a turn in 1995, not long after becoming a mother, while she was at the Hollywood Gold's gym getting back into pre-baby shape. Often, when I was doing my pre-workout warm-up on the treadmill, I couldn't help noticing one particular trainer, tan, tattooed, and muscular, stalking across the gym floor, knit cap pulled so low over his long brown hair that it nearly covered his eyes. Dark and brooding, he gave off such intense energy that when he crossed the enormous gym floor, the waters parted and people stopped in their tracks to stare. One day, as I was walking into the ladies' room at the gym, boom! I ran straight into him on his way out. Wait a minute. What? He was a she? Wow, that really threw me. When Cassandra's personal trainer left Gold's, she found out Teresa Weirson, or T, would be taking over as her personal trainer. A former bodybuilder, track runner, and cyclist, she was an incredibly sweet person despite her tough exterior. She had the ability to make something even as mundane as working out fun, and we trained together 3 times a week for the next 6 years, striking up a close friendship along the way. After 25 years of a tough marriage, which had nearly destroyed her self-worth, Cassandra called it quits and divorced her husband. Teresa had also left her partner and, having nowhere else to turn, moved in with Cassandra. I soon realized that instead of being a burden, having her around was a huge relief. While I worked in the office, she worked around the house, fixing things that needed fixing, taking care of the garden, and keeping the house in order. And she turned out to be the best babysitter anyone could ask for. I'd never been interested in women as anything other than friends. I felt so confused. I soon discovered that we connected sexually in a way I'd never experienced. It became clear I was falling in love with this beautiful, androgynous creature who'd appeared on my doorstep like an angel just when I needed someone most. As Cassandra, it wouldn't have mattered to me that people knew about our relationship, but I felt the need to protect Elvira in order to keep my career alive. Elvira has always had a thing for men, and men have a thing for her, so I worried that if I announced I was no longer living the straight life, my fans would abandon me. If something as personal as my private relationship causes some fans to no longer enjoy my work, or if a company chooses not to work with me because of it, well, all I can say is, fuck 'em. That's their problem. I've never had a long-term relationship in which my partner has treated me with so much love and respect, is always there for me, loves me for who I am, and doesn't try to change me. For the first time in my life, I'm with someone who makes me feel safe, blessed, and truly loved. Today, Cassandra Peterson continues to portray the irreplaceable icon who's synonymous to us 80's kids with Halloween. With all that's happened during my career, the good, the bad, and the funny, The Elvira brand keeps growing. And you know what? I think she just might outlive me. So, tell me, viewers, were you surprised and elated to find out that Cassandra Peterson was truly a Sapphic superstar? Did you grow up enjoying her brand of funny and spooky? Please sound off in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and good night.